And then Chris says, I believe all the genes are present in the body. It's the internal terrain that clicks them on or off all day, right? The internal terrain being our thought forms.
Your belief systems, your posture, any kind of stress, right? The foods that you eat, right? All those things can influence our DNA.
Well, and that's why it's so important the people that you surround yourself with. And if they are not supporting you, or if they're constantly triggering you, you have choices.
Well, you have to take responsibility for those triggers, right?
Well,
So,
that's what I'm saying. You have choices. Yeah, yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
yeah.
I'm with you. So if they're
It could be
triggering you,
one of two things, right? It could be that the universe is telling you to dump that person
right?
and move on. Doesn't mean you don't love them, but it just means that not like people, the right people come in your life and the right people leave, right? Not everyone's supposed to be in your life forever. It's just there's
That's
billions
how
of
it
people.
is.
But if they're triggering a wound in you, sometimes we have to take personal accountability for that, and we have to heal from within. And then organically, what happens is naturally that relationship just splits. It's not you're running away from the problem. We heal from within, and then that relationship may fall apart or split apart or disintegrate,
Or become stronger because you
or
heal.
become stronger because you changed. Absolutely, it could go either
Yeah.
way.
I mean, so I had some things coming up with my husband, and what we both learned to do is keep looking at ourselves,
Hmm.
right? What is it within me? So there were two things. What's in it with me that needs to be healed, right? And why? So why am I triggered by that? And we both did this, and it's it takes a lot of work.
Yeah, a courageous man wants to change the world, but a wise man changes himself.
Love that.
Right. So
A courageous man wants to change the world.
right,
The wise man wants to change himself.
right.
Can I add to that?
Go ahead.
First,
Right,
wants
because
to change himself first.
you're not going to change the rest of the world. You're not going to convince the rest of the world, right? It's
Mm-mm.
an uphill battle, but we can change ourselves. So it goes back to that quote by Nelson Mandela: "You are a child of God, or it's not our light that we are afraid of it, or it's not our darkness that we are afraid of. It is our light."
Mm-hmm.
And as we, oh gosh, it's not our darkness. I'm sorry, I'm having to recall here. So it's not our darkness that we're afraid of. It is our light. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. You are a child of God, and playing small does not serve the world.
No, it does not. Matter of fact, I
You're,
handed out pictures with Nelson Mandela's a picture
mhm.
of Nelson Mandela and that quote about your playing small doesn't serve the world.
Yeah.
I did that on Halloween in 2013, got reprimanded by somebody, but okay. I think this is the time. I'm going to read this information. There's a book that I told you about. It's let me just look it up. So Kindle, here it is. So it's called Living Judaism. Okay. And you said, well, we're talking about Christ. Why are we talking about living Judaism? Well, this amazing man wrote this book. He's a rabbi, and I'll have to get his name later because I'm on a different page. And
Well,
he
Jesus was Jewish, right?
Jewish, Jesus was Jewish, and he doesn't even mention Jesus, but this is just how this feels to me, and it feels amazing. Um, and the book is called Living Judaism. And when I was studying to become a bat mitzvah at the age of 53, I was reading this book. I converted to Christianity instead, but not because of this book. Uh, so I'm going to read this because so I want you to really put your ears on for this. It's so poetic, and then see yourself. Okay, so here we go. I take my glasses off to read. So it's an old Jewish legend. It says, in the beginning, before the beginning, God's light filled the entire universe. When God decided to create the world, he had to withdraw some of his light from the universe so that there would be space for the land and the seas and the trees and the corn stalks, or and the corn stalks, the butterflies, and the lions, the ladybugs, and the sea otters. By the way, I read this to my brother on his deathbed. He liked it. So God breathed in some of the divine light, breathed it in, so there would be room for all the things he wanted to create. But what was God to do with the light? With the light of his being that had filled the whole universe now that he had breathed it in? Well, he put it into little light jars, heavenly vessels that would hold his radiance. And then he began to create the sky and the earth, the dry lands and the waters, and the fiery sun, and the shimmering moon, and the twinkly stars. He created the forests and the deserts and the creepy crawly things and the birds of the air and the fish of the sea and the animals roaming here to there. And everything was going so well. Creation was shaping up just perfectly. God was having a wonderful time. But in the heavens, there was trouble. So God's light, which he had put into these vessels, could not be hidden away. For no vessel, not even a heavenly vessel, could contain the radiant light of God. And so the glory of God's splendor was accustomed to filling the universe, not being hidden away in jars. I'm going to repeat that. The glory of God's splendor was accustomed to filling the universe, not being hidden away in little jars. Sound familiar with what people do? We hide our light. So it wasn't too long until, with a blazing flash, that God's light burst out of the heavenly vessels. And the force of the mighty impact caused the jars to shatter into a million little pieces. And the light itself splintered into billions of little sparks. And the broken pieces of the vessels, fell to the newly formed earth and became the ills and the evils that beset the world, and the little pieces of anguish and travail that one day will have to be collected, soul collection, right? Repaired and made whole again as we reclaim our souls. We do that all the time. And what happened to the billions of little shards of light? Okay, so each of the little shards of light, the sparks of God, became the soul of a human being. And so I'm going to skip and just say, and the human soul is a tiny piece of God, a tiny fragment of God's light, a spark of the divine that burst forth from the heavenly vessels and showered the universe. And then I'll go to the last part that I want to read. Each person then and now is to joyfully share the universe with God, to be his companion and helpmate, his resident caretaker and earthly steward. So because we are all pieces of God, we are God. And a lot of people go, well, I saw a post on Facebook about 3 days ago. She said, well, I keep on hearing I'm God, that I'm Christ. And I'm like, we are all.
We all are, yeah.
We all are. You're right. You are.
Right.
So,
You have 33 vertebrae, just like he did. And it's all symbolism. So